The Bushnell Launch Pro came onto the scene with tour-level accuracy at a fraction of Trackman and GC Quad prices, but that was a few years ago now. Today there's competition, there's confusion. Most golfers still don't realize how much you're actually paying for the Launch Pro over time. So here's the question, is it still worth buying today, or has it been quietly left behind? Today we're digging into the changes at Bushnell and in the industry to find out who should still be buying this and who should avoid it. Now, despite the emergence of launch monitors now that are cheaper with more features and better pricing, there are still some golfers who swear by the Launch Pro. So let's find out why. A quick heads up, our Golfible website has 3 free tools to help you find the launch monitor that best fits your needs. Use our filter tool to instantly find monitors with the exact features you want, like built-in display for example, and it'll show you which launch monitors have that feature. Click the compare button to compare up to 4 launch monitors side by side in our comparison tool, where you can see every feature at a glance. If you're still unsure, answer some questions in our quiz tool and get a personalized launch monitor recommendation based on your answers. All tools are linked in the description. Now back to the video. When the Bushnell Launch Pro dropped in late 2021, it wasn't just another budget-friendly launch monitor, it was bringing something more professional that we hadn't seen in this price range. It was using the same core camera tech as the $7,000 Foresight GC3, which is considered the benchmark for ball and club data accuracy at a more accessible price. Now, it wasn't cheap because of ongoing subscriptions, but it offered unmatched accuracy under 5K, especially indoors. And at the time, it had a lot less competition to contend with in this price range. You had the original SkyTrack, which had no club data, it had no integrated virtual courses, and it didn't work outdoors. And you had Mevo Plus, which relied on radar and lacked consistency or accuracy needed for smaller indoor setups, and also it didn't have its own virtual courses. So even with the Launch Pro's clunky subscription model, it quickly earned a reputation as the go-to option for accuracy-first golfers who wanted pro-grade performance at home. Fast forward to today, and things look very different. They're competing with launch monitors that have very competitive features and pricing models, like the Unicore iMini as an all-round unit, or the Unicore iMini Lite as an indoor-only alternative. Both devices we really rate highly here, and they come with more data metrics, more game-improving features like the impact video that Bushnell just doesn't have. You've got the newer SkyTrack Plus, which now is its own built-in sim software and can be used outdoors. You've got increasing quality from budget units like the MLM2 Pro or the popular Square Golf launch monitor, but perhaps most interesting of all, it's been eaten within by Bushnell's own product, the indoor-only Bushnell LPi, which we'll talk about later. So the big question becomes, with all these new contenders on the market, has the Launch Pro kept up? Let's take a closer look. Even with all the new competition, the Bushnell Launch Pro still holds its ground in some important ways. It is the most accurate launch monitor in this mid-range market because it's built on that same foundation as the GC3, which is the benchmark for accuracy. That means you're getting that industry-proven camera tracking with precise ball and club data. The shot feedback is also under 1 second. That responsiveness is going to make practice a lot more smoother. The real game improvement comes when you pair the Launch Pro with Foresight's FSX software, which you get through Bushnell's subscription. You have FSX Play, which gives you the virtual golf simulation. Now, the realism and the ball physics of FSX Play are a close second to GSPro in our opinion, which is the top-rated virtual course simulator. And competitors like Unicore, SkyTrack, Mevo Plus, they just don't have the same quality sim play as the Launch Pro's FSX Play right now. It is very fun to play, and we do like the chips and putts and how they register properly, including poor strikes. There's no inflated reads, no guessing. If you stub a chip or if you blade a wedge, the data reflects it, which is exactly what you want from your feedback system. It also has other game-improving features like closest to the pin and target challenges, but it is pretty demanding software, so your regular PC won't be able to run the software, and it requires a gaming PC. FSX Pro is another software you can use at the Launch Pro, and it does work on an iPad. It is a virtual driving range only. It can help you dial in your numbers with tools like gapping sessions, side-by-side shot comparisons, and dispersion charts. Now, all these FSX platforms include 3D ball flight, club filters, session tracking, and data sorting. And one other standout feature of FSX software is you get a ball impact graphic that visually shows where the ball struck the face, which is a huge help in understanding mishits and gear effect. Now, the Bushnell Launch Pro excels both indoors and outdoors. This is not something you could say about many other launch monitors on the market. It's quick, simple setup, it's perfect for outdoor play. You won't be spending 5 minutes playing with the calibration or positioning where at the golf course or at the range. With the Launch Pro, you don't have any of these problems. You simply find the hitting area and you're ready to play in seconds. The device works just as well in direct sunlight, which is a step up from mid-tier launch monitors, which have struggled with this in the past. And the data is on the device itself, so you don't have to fiddle with a second device like your phone. And the bonus is it's a very good battery life in the range of 5 to 6 hours from our outdoor testing. Looking at the drawbacks, this is the big one. If you want to use any sort of simulation software with the Bushnell Launch Pro, you need to pay a yearly $500 subscription fee. This means you can't even access the basic virtual driving range without paying this yearly fee. And for us, this is annoying. There's no middle ground option. There's no lower tier virtual range plan. It's all or nothing. SkyTrack Plus is a slightly cheaper launch monitor, but they include a good virtual range in their purchase price. Uniker iMini Lite also include virtual range access with the purchase price. So it is frustrating that Bushnell doesn't do the same, because there's a big section of Launch Pro users who don't want full virtual course simulation, but would like the visual element of a driving range app to help their game. Some kind of middle ground here makes sense, as paying $500 per year just to use virtual range is a bit much for our tastes. So a cheaper subscription fee with access to a virtual range would be a good option. Let's hope they add that soon. So if you don't pay the subscription, you can only read data directly from the Bushnell Launch Pro inbuilt screen. This works out fine if you're only looking at outdoor play, but indoors you are really restricted unless you pay that $500 yearly sub. And then you have GSPro, which is the leading sim software. As I said, the ball physics are so far ahead of competitors, and the online play is the most popular format for sim golf. But it won't work on the Bushnell Launch Pro unless you pay that $500 subscription. So this is where things get really expensive. To use GSPro after buying the Bushnell Launch Pro, you got to pay the yearly sub of $500 per year, the GSPro sub of $250 per year, and you also need a gaming PC. So that's $750 per year just to use it. Vivo Plus won't charge you these connector fees, either will SkyTrack Plus. Uniker will make you pay their subscriptions to use GSPro, but it's a lot cheaper rate at $199 per year. Now, while the Launch Pro nails the essentials, it has quality sim play, it's got closest to the pin, target challenges, ball impact graphics, and even a swing camera feature, it still falls short for us when it comes to dedicated game improvement tools compared to its rivals. So take the SkyTrack Plus, for example. It's got features like the shot optimizer, which is going to grade each shot's performance. You got a shot score for benchmarking against your skill level. You've got the wedge matrix and bag mapping for structured distance control sessions. On the Uniker iMini Lite, they're going to include a slow motion impact video so you can see exactly where the ball struck the face in just a few seconds. Instead of relying on what you felt happened, it's going to show you what actually happened. They've also got a full AI coach, which breaks down and assesses every part of your swing and gives you personalized recommendations on how to fix swing problems. And it's got a short game complex where you can do different practice drills for short wedges, chips, and putts. So these tools are going to help you diagnose issues faster, and they build more structure in your sessions. And many of them are built in, or they included in cheaper subscriptions than the Launch Pro's $500 per year. So for serious practice, the Launch Pro does give you a solid foundation, but other launch monitors now offer more ways to train smarter. Now this one is simple but frustrating. The Bushnell Launch Pro is geo-locked to the United States, so if you're in Canada, Europe, Australia, you're not going to be able to use it. So your alternative is to buy the GC3, which is the same hardware as the Launch Pro, but with a much higher upfront cost of around $7,000 right now with no yearly subscriptions. So if you're planning long-term use and you're outside the US, that is better value, even though the price stings. Or you can go for a subscription version called the GC3S, which is $3,800 upfront right now, and then $500 per year, just like the Launch Pro. If you're getting value from the video, please consider subscribing and buying your launch monitor from our affiliate links in the description at no extra cost to you, as that's what keeps the channel going. Thank you. After all the drawbacks we've just covered, you might be thinking, why not just buy a different launch monitor entirely? But one of the biggest challengers to the Launch Pro is actually Bushnell itself, with the Bushnell LPi, which is a newer stripped down version of the Launch Pro that uses the exact same tracking software. That means it's the same core cameras, the same ball and club data, same FSX software access, and the same tour level accuracy that made the Launch Pro popular. So what's the catch? Well, there are a few key trade-offs, and they'll matter depending on whether you want to play outdoors or not. So you can see the table here shows you will need to keep the LPi plugged into a power outlet to work. There is no battery, which means it's an indoor only unit. There's no built-in display, just a rubber pad where you can rest your phone to view data on. So yes, the LPi gives you the same performance for over $500 less, but it also strips out a lot of the convenience. No battery, no portability, no screen, no outdoor use. So the bottom line is, if you're practicing indoors and don't care about portability or onboard visuals, the LPi is tempting. But for golfers who want that extra flexibility, especially to use it outdoors or run sessions without a second screen, the Launch Pro still holds the edge. Now, what if you're still on the fence? Well, let's take a step back and ask the big question: who is the Launch Pro actually for? The Launch Pro still makes sense, but only for the right type of golfer. So if your priority is trustworthy data at a more reasonable price, this is still top of its class. That 3-camera system captures more detail and tracks more consistently than 2-camera setups like the iMini or iMini Lite, or radar-based models like the Mivo Plus. If your main concern is numbers being dead on every time, this is the one for you. If you're already building out a sim setup with a gaming PC and GSPro, and you want a launch monitor that won't let you down on shot data, the Launch Pro is the best option available. You'll need a gaming PC and a subscription, but if budget isn't a barrier, this setup offers one of the most realistic and technically accurate sim experiences without spending over $10,000. If you're just planning on using the monitor at the range or on the course, you can skip the subscription altogether and go with the ball data only version for $1,800 if you want to keep costs down. Outdoors, the Launch Pro remains extremely accurate. It works in sunlight, it needs minimal setup, and it's going to give you a no frills but rock solid practice tool. And you're getting that elite data with none of the ongoing software costs. If you're trying to build a simulator setup on a strict budget, the Launch Pro might look tempting, especially with the ball data only version starting at $1,800. But here's the catch: if you want any sort of indoor simulation or app integration, you're going to have to pay that $500 per year for the subscription. And if you want club data, you're going to need to upgrade to the full version for over $3,100 at the moment. And if you want to use the simulation software like GSPro, that's the additional $250 per year. So it's not ideal for budget builds focused on simulation, especially when other monitors include basic virtual driving ranges or fun gameplay out of the box with no ongoing fees. Now, the one exception is if you're an outdoor-only golfer, as I said before, but if simulation is part of your plan, you're locking yourself into a higher cost ecosystem over time with the Bushnell Launch Pro. If you're planning to run your simulator setup using just an iPad, the Launch Pro simply won't give you the full experience. Foresight blocks screen mirroring from iOS devices, so if you try and project your session to a TV or projector, the screen goes black. That means you're stuck viewing your sim sessions on a small screen, which gets pretty old fast. So FSX Play does not work on the iPad. So that means no virtual courses, only FSX Pro with the virtual driving range is available, and GSPro won't run on Macs or iPads at all, so a Windows PC is a must for simulation. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but if you've got the budget to spend $7,000 or more, skip the Launch Pro entirely. Buy the Foresight GC3 instead. It's the exact same hardware, just branded differently with no subscription fees. So you're paying more upfront, but in the long run, you're going to save money and avoid being locked into yearly billing. If you're just looking for a fun simulator to play a few holes with friends on the weekend, I think there are better options right now than the Bushnell Launch Pro. You have more fun with all the different game modes on the Unicron iMini or iMini Lite than the Launch Pro, and you also have a great selection on cheaper, more user-friendly options like the SkyTrack Plus, Rapsodo MLM2 Pro, or even the Square Golf launch monitor. They all might suit you better here. So where does that leave us? Well, the Bushnell Launch Pro is still one of the most accurate launch monitors you can buy for under $5,000, no question. It's trusted, it's battle tested, and for golfers who prioritize precise data over flashy features, it still delivers the goods for us, but things have changed. There's now serious competition offering better game-improving tools, more flexible pricing, and Bushnell's own LPi has raised fresh questions about value. So is it still worth it? Well, yes, if you understand what you're getting into with subscriptions and software requirements, but no if you're trying to build a budget-friendly sim, if you want simple plug-and-play use or hate being tied to annual fees just to access some core features. If you're still unsure, our comparison tool, filter tool, and quick quiz can guide you to the right launch monitor for your needs. All the links are in the description. Please leave any questions in the comments and subscribe. Thank you.